important is the thing about Japanese, that they don't like this direct sites. It is really true about Japanese, and I think that's a good start when she started to say that there are different types of people. We can be directly, and we can't be directly like Japanese. They don't like this type of direction.
Correct. And actually, after somebody else shares in a minute, I have new experiences that, Livia, you haven't heard these stories, and neither have Paulina. I've been teaching these semesters a lot of students from India and Philippines. And I have learned so much about things that for us are normal, and that we suppose that just because they don't say anything, they're understanding things, where usually it is based on their culture, that it's not really that we're communicating effectively. It's just that we do not understand how people communicate in other cultures, right? So very good point, Alec. I really, really appreciate it. Anybody else would like to share? Yes, Livia, go ahead. And then I would like one more before I share also. Go ahead, Livia.
Can you hear me? See? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So, first of all, I totally agree with Alec. Alec is okay. I believe that like I don't know, read people, it's like a art, and the awareness, like be aware of what is happening into the atmosphere is incredible. It's like how you prepare to deal with that. And the second thing is that when we are in another culture, it's totally different. Like I am in Mexico now. I believe that the key is how you deal with the different things that you'll see in your day. So, for example, the woman that it was talking in the video had the choice to start having that behavior or not, you know. So, am I starting to behave like the most of people around me is behaving or not? I believe that is the key to have success in your communication and adapt to the different culture. It's how you deal with it, because you have the choice. You have like, okay, I can do this or not. I can like keep my cultural behavior or not. Yeah, I believe that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing, Livia. I'm going to go back to what Alex said before I give the word. I need another hand raising, please. I'm waiting for another hand to raise. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Livia. Alec, you said gestures and you said atmosphere, which is very important. And then Livia, you mentioned how to deal with different things. But what you were saying, Livia, is actually called mirroring. When you try to mirror a little bit the attitudes, because in this case, you moved to a different country, right? And it is actually easier for you to adapt, of course, to the whole culture than a lot of people to adapt to you. Although I do believe a lot of people may be empathic enough to try to ask you how things are in your country or how you think about things, etc., but not everybody. So I do agree with that. So anybody else? I need another hand before I call your names, or then I'm going to start calling names. Then Julie, what do you think about the video? Were you able to see it, to watch it? Now, if you were not able to watch it, don't worry, okay?
Yes,
You
no,
can
no,
listen to it later.
that's okay. I watch it, and I'm going to raise my hand, but you call me first, but it's okay. I totally agree with Alec and Livia, because when you talking with people that are not they are introverts, you have to close and see if the people want to talk something, because most of the time when you talk with people in Brazil, I don't know if all the countries, I don't want to generalize everything, but when I talk with the people, most of the time I talk with my friends. They are extroverted, so they talk back and they say everything they want to tell me. But if you are in the talking like a presentation, is sometimes people are shy to ask something. So it's really important to you to read the movements, read the body language, read the eyes. I love when she talking about the shiny eyes. So I think all this is very important if you want to pass the message. So yeah, I think this.
Very good points, and I really appreciate Julie. Now, before we go to analyzing the objectives of the class, and I'm going to go through some of the topics that we're going to be covering, I just wanted you to see this video because through the whole semester, we're going to read a lot of theoretical background that is going to help us understand first what is communication, but also even how communication is based on how things are seen differently in different contexts, societies, and cultures. Let me give you an example. And this is something you haven't heard, Livia or Paulina, because you haven't, these are new things that have been happening. We had a situation in one of my classes. I teach at Vancouver Community College. 11 of our 28 students plagiarized all their assignments. And we're not talking about first semester students. This is second semester students. But because now I check all my students' assignments, I always put them through originality.ai to make sure that no one is plagiarizing. And 11 out of 28 assignments came out as 100% done by ChatGPT. And the first reaction, of course, in our academic authorities is to get angry, to get upset, and to say we should suspend these students, and how can this be happening, and how blah, 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 you know, like, etc. And I understand, of course, we understand that. But then I tried to understand what plagiarizing is in a different culture and how what they did is seen in different cultures. And I'm not trying to excuse them. No, because of course, I believe we need to adapt to the regulation of this country. It's like saying, oh, because in my country, this is not a crime, I'm going to commit a crime in your country. Of course not. That's no excuse. And I do understand that. But there are certain specific perception, how we perceive things. So I ended up learning that in India, it is mandatory to have all people help each other. And this plagiarism thing, even the quote or citation of other authors, it's not very common. Actually, teamwork is how they get along. And maybe what in my country could be seen as cheating, in their country seen as it's the way to do things, it's a normal way to do things. And even their parents tell them to do these things. So I went a little bit back and I told our authorities, have we made sure that we explained really what plagiarism is? Because I know the code, it's explained, but do they understand? Shouldn't we give them examples? And then what I did, I actually showed them. This is plagiarism. This is what you cannot do. And then what do we do, teacher? And I said, when you are listening, you take notes of your ideas. And then forget about the text, forget about the video, and based on what you took notes of from your ideas, you express what you want. Because I always have my students write reflective essays. And reflective essays are about what each one of you is feeling, what each one of you is thinking. You're going to bring your own experiences into your own reflective essay. And if I see a generic essay that is giving me definitions, I didn't ask you for definitions. Of course, that is done by ChatGPT. I didn't ask you for definitions. I asked you for your experience. And they didn't understand that. And I didn't excuse them. We still gave them a document. You know, they are in trouble. They are still in trouble because, again, that doesn't mean that they're not supposed to do it, right? But I think we need to be more intercultural, empathetic towards those differences. And before we judge, or before we assume, that is the worst word in the vocabulary when we're trying to get people to understand each other from different cultures and countries. Assume. I thought, I imagined, I believed. That's what I thought. No assuming. Let's make sure that we ask and do we understand. So once that we have done this, I hope the expectation of what we're going to be doing through most of this class is a little bit clear. We're going to be focusing on how communication takes place, first in general, and then we're going to be adapting it to different ways. Because you said, many of you, I'm going to take your words, You said the gestures, the atmosphere, the mirror and adaptation to other people. You talk about many things. But guys, this is important. And I've told this to some of my students. My gesturing, because I come from a country where we gesture a lot. When I gave presentations in Germany, I was actually, well, not yelled at, but I was told that my way of presenting was very distracting for my German colleagues. They actually took my gesturing and everything as something exaggerated. And they said that they didn't feel comfortable, me being the presenter, using so many gestures and facial gestures. They didn't feel comfortable. I know. And even if you don't mean any harm, even if you don't mean, what do you do? And it's not about who's bad or who's wrong. And I always tell my students, it's not about white or black. It's about, let's find something in between. Let's meet each other halfway and let's try to make sure that my message is being understood. Very briefly, I'm going to read the objective then of our class. All this information is going to be eventually accessed in Moodle. We have a Moodle website, which you're going to have access to, but I don't think you're going to get access for the next 2 weeks. So we're going to be sharing everything on our Google Drive. The objective of this course is to develop the students' understanding in the role of culture in business communication and to equip them with the skills needed to communicate effectively with individuals from different cultural backgrounds in the context of international business. So we're going to connect more to business because even business is done differently. We're going to talk about something which is, we're going to very briefly analyze Industrial Revolution 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're in Industrial Revolution 5. I don't know if you guys know about this, but this is brand new. And this is actually just brand new here in Canada. Oh, and remember, Livia, I went to London to a conference a few months ago. Also, in this conference, the latest trends in business around the world were presented here. So I think it is very important for you guys also to know what are the latest trends in business organizations, and from there, how we're going to connect with all this type of communication that we have now, which is pretty much virtual, having teams working in different parts of the world, having the same project with different teams in different cities, etc. So that's what we're going to learn today. Yes, Alec, go ahead. I'm very happy to know that you have a question. Go ahead.
Have I skipped something very important because I had a problem with my internet connection?
Don't worry, because guess what? We are recording all the class, and I always upload the class into my YouTube channel, and I'm going to be sending you you can watch the whole class. Don't worry. Even if you have some kind of disconnection,
Okay.
you can always connect. Okay. So I'll make sure to share the channel, and you'll be able to go back and rewatch any section that you may have missed. Don't worry about that. Okay. Very good. So I was just going through very briefly the objective of our class. I'm not going to go very deeply into that because, again, as we go on, you're going to see that our objective is to include, of course, the understanding of different cultures without stereotyping or without putting, ideas, because we cannot generalize. We cannot say all Brazil is the same. Of course not. We said different regions are different. Mexico is very different. Now you're in Morelia, Livia, but that's not all Mexico. Monterrey is different, Yucatan is different, and Veracruz is different, and don't worry, Juan. We'll give you a minute to introduce yourself in a minute. Don't worry. So, but what is important here is that we understand that our objective is going to be learning how to communicate in intercultural contexts in an effective way. This is a draft, okay? It's going to be changed a little bit because this was presented to Ulla 3 months ago when we presented the class. So I'm going to be adding more information to this. This is academic period 1. Our first academic period, actually, I'm going to tell you, it's going to last, this is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, 5, 6. The first academic period is going to last 6 weeks, okay? That means that we're going to have classes 14, 16, 21st, 23rd, 28th, and 30th of August. And then in September, we're going to have classes again on the 4th and 6th of September, the 11th and the 13th. And on Monday, on that last week of the academic period, we're going to have a small quiz, but the quiz is going to be with open notebooks, okay? And it's going to be me giving you a real case study of intercultural communication in which you're going to analyze that case study based on all the information that we're going to be covering. So you see, there's no way to cheat because I want to hear your opinions, your ideas, your suggestions, okay? And again, this is going to be only academic period 1. Don't worry, I'll give you the calendar later. Academic period 2, it's going to be mostly, and this is something that I really love, cultural competencies for leaders. And if you downloaded the book that I gave you on Google, okay, if you have the book, actually the book can help you. It's a wonderful book. It's really going to help you a lot because we're not going to cover a lot. It's over 300 pages. It's too much, but we're going to use some of the information from the book. And then academic period 3, it's going to be the concepts of intercultural communication. We may have to repeat some things that Livia and Paulina may have already heard a little bit, but we're going to add everything more into the business communication environment. Now, this is the book that I was telling you about. Now, Juan, I know you just joined us. Don't worry, because I'm going to make sure to get your email by the end of the class, so I can share the same link that I share with everyone. All this information right now is in Google Drive. Raise your hand if you have access to the Google Drive. Raise your hand if you have seen, okay, good. Even digital or present, very good, very good. I got it. Okay, very good, thank you. So this is the book, okay? Even if we don't cover the whole book, it's an amazing book, and it's brand new. I think it was published 5 years ago, I think, 5-6 years ago. It's not really that old. It's a very, very good book. And it's going to help you very much. Now, let me go very quickly through some of the activities that we're going to be doing. As you know, we're going to be doing a lot of participation. So that's okay if sometimes I understand a lot of people feel a little shy, but I'm going to need you, whenever it's your time to participate, please turn on your cameras, okay? Because it's very important when we're talking about communication that we see who we're talking to. Because in many cultures, actually, let me tell you, what in some cultures may be seen as I'm kind of shy and I don't like to have my camera on, in some cultures may be perceived as I don't care. I know, and I know that's not your objective. I know that. That's okay, but that's understanding how in different cultures, actually, if your camera is off, it's like I don't care. And we're going to talk about that, but don't worry, don't worry. So you're going to have a lot of mind maps, reflective essays. I promise you're going to have fun stuff. I'm never going to ask you for boring homework or nothing that is going to be boring. I'm actually going to ask you, and I'm going to add actually a very interesting assignment during this semester, because you're going to go out and you're going to talk to foreigners, whatever you are. And that's an assignment that you're going to have to do. I know, you're going to do your own research. And I know that's going to be very interesting because I'm not in Brazil, I'm not in Russia, I'm not in Mexico, and I'm in Canada. So it's very important to get to know different visions and perspectives, you see? And also there's another activity that I think you're going to like. You're going to create your own tutorial to help people in your country communicate effectively with people from other parts of the world. You're going to create your own tutorial, your own video. I know. So it's going to be fun. Don't worry. I promise it's going to be fun. This is how we're going to be grading the classes. Cameras on and class participation is 30% of the mark, the total mark. The class notes, I'm going to tell you that I actually suggest that you take notes. Any notes that you take, don't worry. You're going to get a picture. You're going to take with your cell phone. You're going to get a pic of your notes. And by the end of the week, only by submitting your notes, by me knowing that you were paying attention, that you were taking your notes, etc., you get already 20% of your grade just by sending the pictures of your notes. Now, a lot of people take notes on work, in the computer. Get a screenshot of your notes. That's fine. So it could be a picture of your notes or it could be a screenshot of your notes. Just submitting that by the end of the week, you already get 20%. It's amazing. Now, 20% is going to be assignments. I'm only going to give you assignments on Wednesdays. Today is the only exception in which I'm going to give you a brief assignment because I want to know if you have questions about how to write reflective essays. That's why today I'm giving you a very brief assignment, okay? But it's the exception. Most of the times, I'm only going to be giving you assignments on Wednesdays. So you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to finish your essay, your assignment, and submit your assignment Sunday night. Everything is going to be done in Mexico City time, okay? Quizzes, as I already told you, that's 20%. We're going to have 3 quizzes, 1 for each academic period. Next class, I'm going to show you the calendar. It's going to be a little bit easier. In a minute, I'm going to show you our Moodle page, so you know that in 2 weeks, you're going to have access to it. And the final presentation, which can be live or can be a video too, that's going to be 10% of your final grade. Now, how do you get your 100% of the whole mark? Because as you all know, this is an academic class. This is not a workshop. This is not something extra. You get a grade, okay? And UNLA, the university, is going to send an academic grade to your university. So if you're taking this class for credits, you have to get your credits. How do you get your credits? If you get a good mark, of course, okay? Now, how do we get that mark? 35% of your total mark is going to be your full evaluation of the first academic period, which is those 6 weeks that I already talked about. The second academic period, which begins on September 25th, and it goes all the way until October 25th. That's going to be only 5 weeks. That's going to be a short academic period. The second one, and that's 35%. And the last academic period that begins on October 30th and finishes on December 6th, that's our last class of the semester, that's 30% of the grade, okay? Why do I do this? Because I know in the first and second period, you can still pay a lot of attention. But once you are already in your third academic period, everybody's tired, everybody has exams and projects and presentations, and you go crazy and you have no more idea about your online class and you're not really putting a lot of attention. So that's why I put most of the mark in the first 2 terms. So in the last one, I actually don't give you a lot of homework. And Livia and Paulina can tell you, usually during the last academic term, I usually don't give you a lot of assignments because I know you guys are very busy. And what's the point of making you crazier? That's not my objective. My objective is that you're here to learn. Now, this is the Moodle page that you're going to see. Okay, let me exit this presentation. And I'm going to show you very briefly what the Moodle page looks like. Okay, let me start sharing. Okay, here it goes. This is the real platform, and this is our Moodle page. Now, as you can see, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and then it says week 6, September 18, quiz, September 20, end of first academic period. And then week 7, we begin our second academic period. Week 8, week 9, week 10, week 11, quiz again, second quiz, remember, with our open notebook, case study, October 25th, end of second academic period. And then on week 12, we begin our third academic period, and we come to class with our Halloween costume. If you come with your costume, you get extra points. Why? Because this is culture too. And I'm in Canada. And here in Canada, we celebrate Halloween just like we do in the United States. And we'll talk even about Dia de Muertos, which is Day of the Dead. Livia, you're in the best city in the whole country to enjoy Day of the Dead in Morelia. And actually, I'm going to ask you to share with the rest of the class what you see, because you're going to be shocked by everything that happens in Day of the Dead in Mexico. And also, let me tell you something, Livia. Too bad you're only going to be here for 1 semester. Next year, next Day of the Dead, I'm taking Mr. Jenkins to Morelia. We're going to be in Morelia next Day of the Dead in 2024. I know, we're ready. We already have everything reserved and everything for a year. I know, we have to plan everything in advance here because I know, it's very crazy. So, Halloween, but still a class, even if we're wearing our costumes. We're still having a class. November 1st, week 13, 14, 15, 16, and that's the end. Final presentations on December 4th and December 6th, the end of the semester. Now, yes, I'm going to mention the holidays. This is very important, guys. If you go to, let me give you the holidays. I usually write no class. I'm going to share, you know what? In the same email that I sent you, I'm going to send you the UNLA calendar, okay? And UNLA calendar has the days off. I believe there is, yes, I'll go with you, Alec, in a minute, okay? There is one day, yes, here it is. November 20th, Monday. November 20th, it's a holiday in Mexico. November 20th, it's a Monday, and it's a holiday in Mexico. That day, we don't have a class, okay? November 20th, it's Day of the Revolution in Mexico, and UNLA is closed. The whole school closes, and it's a holiday in Mexico. So November 20th, it's, I believe, the only official holiday we have until now. Now, Alec, you had a question. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, but I think that I have a problem with my UNLA synchronic because I don't see nothing. I don't see Moodle, I don't see courses,
Yes,
and
let me tell you
I don't
something.
see
It's not
what
your
is this
problem.
page.
It's not your problem, Alec. It's our problem. Let me tell you why. None of the students have access to Moodle during the first 2 weeks of classes, but let me tell you why. A lot of students, we have something in Mexico called altas y bajas, which means in these 2 weeks, we have new students joining, or students who actually are here. They're going to say, you know what, this is not the class that I was expecting. I want to change to another class. And they are still okay to be changed to another class. Okay. So during these first 2 or 3 weeks, you will not have access to this that I'm showing you right now. Okay. I'm showing you that it's already structured and everything is planned. But don't worry, you can right now just get a screenshot if you want of this. I'm going to send you screenshots of this, and I'm going to send you to your emails the UNLA school calendar where you can see this. But right now I'm showing you that the first 6 weeks are the first academic period. By the time we're usually in week 4, maybe, we all will switch to Moodle. And instead of doing the Google Drive and the emails, we're going to switch to Moodle. But don't worry, meanwhile, we're going to keep having everything shared in Google Drive. And your assignment, you're going to send it to my email for now. Once the Moodle is open, this thing that you see here, I'm going to open Windows for you to submit your assignment here in Moodle, but not right now, because I know that UNLA takes 2 or 3 weeks to get all the students enrolled in Moodle. Did I answer your question, Alec?
So if how I understand now in our Outlook email, we have materials for first week, totally first week, right? Sorry, but I don't listen you. I can't listen you.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute
Yes.
myself. My
Yes.
mistake. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. The reason why I'm showing you this is that to show you that everything is structured, but we have to wait until UNLA tells us, yes, it's open. Everybody has access now. And then we'll be switching to UNLA. But don't worry right now. This is how we're going to be communicating meanwhile. Meanwhile, here it is. You see? Ta-da! While we get access to Moodle, you see, I was ready, Alec. I knew what you were going to ask. While we get access to Moodle, we're going to have Google Drive. And if you can scan, okay, or I'm going to do the same thing that I did, Livia. Let me share the link here in the chat. I'm going to share it in the chat. Hold on, because I have to stop sharing. Okay, in the chat, there. If you go to our chat, guys, that's the Google Drive you should all have access to. And then I'll go with you, by dear Isabel, in a minute. Okay. So everybody should have access to the Google Drive. Right now, you can see the book, the critical reflection instructions, and the presentation that I'm sharing right now. So for now, also answering your question, Alec, and I'll go with you in a minute, Isabel. The assignment are going to be given on Wednesdays, and you will have until Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Mexico City time to send me your email. For now, you're going to send it to my email, adcsandoval unla.edu.mx. Okay. So for now, everything we're going to do here, we're going to meet each other, my email, any question you may have. All right. And I'm going to be uploading anything to our Google Drive file. Okay. Yes. Go ahead, my dear Isabel. Ask your question.
Okay. I have a question. On all the dates are based on the calendar of Mexico. Okay. I do this question because, for example, in Colombia there are many holidays or festivals, and yes, you
That's a
understand this.
very good
Okay.
question.
There are
What I would
many.
probably ask, yeah, I understand, because the
Okay.
same is going to happen here in Canada. The same happens in Brazil, Colombia, Russia, etc., etc. Okay, so this is what we should do. If you believe there's one date, which is a holiday in which all the people is outside, I will probably ask your school coordinator, because I imagine there's a coordinator, right, that talks to Diego Prado, who is usually the link. I will probably ask your coordinator to send an email to the director of academic mobility, or send it to me, that's okay. And that's my email. So I know the official holidays, but just have your director send me that email. It doesn't matter if it's in Spanish, in Russian, or in Portuguese, in whatever language, don't worry, I'll have it translated, okay? But that's a very good question, all right? Also for you girls, the ones who are in Brazil, if you have holidays, or the ones guys who are in I believe you're in Russia, I'll confirm in a minute. Wherever you are, just have your school academic coordinators share the academic calendar, so I respect those days, and those days you will be excused, let's say that. But you still need to catch up, where I'm still going to record the class, okay, because we need to have the class, but you can catch up. I will give you additional days to catch up. Did I answer your question, my dear Isabel?
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Now, Juan, where are you located? Just to make sure, I want to make sure, where are you taking the class from?
Well, I'm from Colombia, from Cali, but I'm currently living in the States. I'm staying in Atlanta, Georgia.
So
I'm
you
gonna
are
be
in the
here for like
United
2 months and a
States.
half.
You are in
What?
the United States right
Yeah,
now. Did I understand
I'm in
correctly?
Atlanta. Yeah.
Georgia. You see how international is this class? I told you. Okay,
Yeah.
so now I have a question. You are following then the US calendar. So I think Thanksgiving probably is going to be a holiday for you, correct?
No, I'm going back to Colombia back in October.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay, you're going back to Colombia. All right. So anyway, just make sure that we know where everybody is, okay? And Juan,
Okay.
could you please write in the chat your email address so I can make sure you get access to, did you copy the Google Drive link? I just need
I
to
think
make sure you.
it's in the email when you send the
Oh, you
classroom, but
got
I'll
it.
put it in
You
the
got
chat.
it.
Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry.
Because I don't
I'll
have
put it
your
in the chat.
email, Juan. I don't know why I don't have your email. Just share it in the chat here, because I don't know why I don't have your email. Anyway, all right, let's move on then. Very good. So we're going to have 5 minutes, very quick 5-minute break, okay? Because right now, I believe, again, in Mexico, I believe it's 8:15, because for me, it's 7:15 p.m. So, Alec, where are you? I just need to make sure, where is everybody? Yana and Alec, where are you?
We're in Moscow. I am in Moscow, actually.
What time is it for you, Yana?
It's 5:15.
5:15 in the morning. So it's very similar to my students in Iraq who I had connecting. But we have a saying in Mexico, the one who wakes up early, it's given the blessings of God, something like that. So I know, in Mexico we say, al que madruga, Dios le ayuda. It's shorter, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I know, right? Very good. So let's take 5 minutes, guys, and let's be back. Let's get some drink, bathroom break, whatever. And then in 5 minutes, I will continue with the expectations and everything, okay? Thank you. See you in 5 minutes. Bye. Yes, Alec, you had a question. Sorry, Alec. Go.
Yes, one moment. Can we have a connection using Outlook? Because I think that my email address that I write in my notification, I think that now it is not working. But the
That's
email,
right. Can you, in the chat, can you write in the chat any other email address that I might register right now? Don't worry, I'll make sure we work it out. Just write in the chat any other 2 or 3 email addresses that I may be able to get contact, to be in touch with you, and just write down the. Let me see. For example, Juan, I have Juan now. Very good. Juan, I have your email now. Very good. Juan, let me write down. Yes, Alec, just write any other way in which we can be in touch, okay?
I write in now in email, and I think that if this email is not registered, so
That's all right.
for me it will be the email that my personal email. And if this
Okay.
email is registered, so I don't have a question, it's all working.
That's all right. Just in case, give us all the emails this one. Tim and, okay, hold on, Alec. Let me copy it. Okay,
Okay.
I got it now. I'll make sure to copy it. See you in 5 minutes. Bye.
Okay, gracias.
Okay, guys, well, you're getting back. Don't worry. I don't want to finish like very, very late, although this class finishes for in Mexico City time at 9 p.m. I'm glad everybody's home. In the past, a lot of people who used to take this class at school, and at school at 9. Right now it's the summer and we have a lot of light. But as the winter, the fall and the winter approach, it's going to get very dark towards the end of our semester. So very briefly, let me continue with the expectations, ideas, classes. As you must know, and I think you have all seen probably this meme, right? What I learned at school and what I wish I had learned at school. And something that I always share with my students is that actually, not because I have been teaching for over 35 years, that doesn't mean I teach with the old ways. I actually try to adopt a lot of the new techniques and strategies for students. So actually in this class, I'm going to try to teach you a lot about not only the knowledge, the academic knowledge, but also the skills that you have to develop as professionals, which are creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, etc. But also the character strengths in your personality. When we get to know who we are, when we get to know which are those character strengths that identify us and make our personality, it's easier for us to be able to adapt and to understand that our personality also comes out when we are trying to communicate, and how effective we are when we are communicating is actually a result of a mixture of all these elements, which make the four-dimensional learning on which we are basing everything that we're going to be teaching you here. So everything we do, we're going to be doing a lot of reflection. As you can see in the bottom of this form of this model, the meta learning is how we reflect and how we adapt everything that we're learning to our own needs, to our own personality, to our attitude, to our own behavior. So this is what we're going to be doing during the class. Also, those who have been my students, you have seen this before. The passive knowledge, which is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with reading. There's nothing wrong with hearing words, looking at pictures, watching movies, etc. But all of that is mostly passive knowledge. And we're going to try to activate most of the knowledge. And how do we do this? By writing a lot of reflective essays, okay, trying to think what is this making me think, what is this making me believe, what is this making me feel, what emotions, this thing that I'm reading, this text or this video that I'm watching, what does it remind me of? Does it remind me of one day my dad told me about this, or another day one of my teachers mentioned this, or maybe another day I experienced this in the train station, or maybe another day when I was in a restaurant I witnessed this situation? And that's exactly the objective of our reflective essay, to try to connect all this new knowledge that we're going to be talking about to your own personal experiences. Why? Because when we participate in discussions, we give a talk, and we actually make this knowledge active and we personalize it, we're more likely to remember all of this information, not only after 2 weeks, but forever. Okay, so this is the reason why these are going to be some of the activities that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing mind maps. We're going to be doing some drawings, some creative things, etc. So I need you to use your creativity, and I'm going to tell you what I always tell my students: open your mind. Now, which are the minimum requirements? I understand we're in different countries, and I understand different time zones. Of course, we understand that. But just like what I said with the plagiarism, not because in my country, plagiarism is seen differently, because I'm here in Canada, I can do whatever I want, or I can commit a crime. No. So their regulations that we're going to follow are their regulations established by UNLA. Even if I'm in Vancouver, this is very important, I do not follow the Vancouver holidays. So even if there's a holiday here, I will still teach you a class because I work with UNLA, because I need to adapt to UNLA, and because I need to understand that we're taking a class with UNLA. So even for those of you who are abroad, who are in different countries, I'm being respectful. That's why I'm saying, if you do have a holiday that actually it's in a Monday in which we have classes, have your academic director send please an excuse and justification. So I do not mark that as an absency, but as a justified absency. But still, it'll be your obligation and your commitment to watch the class online and catch up. I will give you additional days, of course, to submit your assignment. That's okay. And also your class notes that you need to get pictures of, same thing. You're going to have additional days, but we need to adapt to UNLA regulations, okay? I need to make sure that everybody understands that, okay? Now, we need to connect then every Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Mexico City time. Now, in UNLA, these are UNLA regulations, not my regulations. And I think, Fair, you are in UNLA, Livia, you're in UNLA, you can confirm this is true. In UNLA, there are no tardies. All teachers give you 10 minutes. They understand that maybe you may be late for 10 minutes. But if you arrive to class after 15 or 20 minutes, you're welcome to come into the classroom, but you are already marked as no show, like an absence, right? Am I right, Paulina and Livia? Is that still their rule? Yes, you only have 10 minutes, okay? So if you're gonna be late a little bit beyond those 10 minutes, send me an email with a justification, or maybe your academic director can send us a justification. Something happened. There's a school activity, because this has happened. Remember, Livia, you had a trip, right? I remember when you were in Brazil, Livia, you had like a school trip or something, I remember. And then your school sent us like she's going on a school trip. And okay, we understand that. That is justified, okay? Just make sure communication is the key, okay? And you must have at least 80% of attendance to continue in the course. This is important because even when I try to grade the students, if you haven't attended at least 80%, I cannot grade you. The system blocks, the teachers cannot grade you, okay? So it's very important that you attend at least 80% of your classes. As I already mentioned, 30% is being here, cameras on, participation. Your weekly notes, remember, you take notes of whatever you're taking notes of, and it's per week, not per day. Don't submit your pictures today. Wait until Wednesday. And on Wednesday, you take pictures of your Monday notes and your Wednesday notes. And then you send those pictures, okay? Your weekly assignment, 20%, quizzes, 20%, and final presentation. Now, these are some of the suggestions I give you when you're taking notes. Only take notes of keywords, maybe some terms, some authors, some reflections, some ideas that may come into your head, like, what did I learn? What is this important? What is this telling me? What am I remembering? Like, for example, from your Alec, write down gestures and atmosphere from the video that you were watching. Or Livia, write down this, how to deal with different, what I was telling you, adapt. You talk about that adaptation, make sure that is in your notes, etc. So it doesn't matter if your notes have to be a copy of I don't want you to copy the PowerPoint presentation. The notes are your ideas, your thoughts, your questions, etc. Yes, you have a question, my dear Julia, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to know if I can write in Portuguese to send for you. Okay.
That is a wonderful question. Yes, you can write your notes in English, in Spanish, in Portuguese, in Russian, in whatever language you feel more comfortable with. It can have drawings. Sometimes students tell me, teacher, but I am making some drawings. That's okay, because that's also your creativity. That's all right. Even if you have little doodles or little things. I remember, in my case, because I get distracted very easily, every time I'm listening to my teachers, I'm making patterns. I'm always making with my color pens patterns while I am, because that's how I pay attention. But that's my style, and I'm very respectful of everyone's style. So maybe about things that you think about, etc. Don't worry. They don't have to be structured like in a nice way. No, just like this. Please don't panic. Don't waste your time. A lot of students tell me, oh, teacher, but it takes a lot of time to take all my notes and put them in a nice paper. No, don't do that. Please don't do that. I just need to make sure that you're engaged and I read your questions. Even if they're in another language, I can understand if something was not clear when most of the notes have the same, sorry, the same ideas or the same question marks, etc. I can tell. Use expressions because that helps me. If I see a lot of question marks, then I know, oh, I probably need to go again and explain this. My only suggestion for you guys, open your mind. When we're talking about intercultural communication, open your mind. Even when we read about theories, even when we read about authors, when we're talking about different cultures, we need to have an open mind. And I think one of the reasons why all of you are here, of course, it's because you do have an open mind and you're welcoming different ways of seeing things. And as Livia and Paulina know, I love this chart. I love the multidimensionality of trying to deal with different concepts, because on one hand we have to talk about business, as I already mentioned, the latest trends. On another hand, we have to talk about how we communicate effectively. We're going to talk about push and pull and interactive communication, which are methods of communication now in business. I'm going to tell you how business communicate about different countries. One of the classes I'm teaching is project management, and I teach my project managers to actually communicate effectively with teams in Dubai, in Taiwan, in New York, in Vancouver at the same time. 4 teams are working on the same project. How can this be happening? I know there are certain specific ways and strategies in which we need to make sure we're communicating effectively. And you're going to learn that. I'm going to teach you that, okay? Now, because this is very soon and very quick, I think we're going to leave the personal introductions for next class. So what I'm going to ask you to do for next class, okay, and this is very simple and very easy. Each one of you is going to present one PowerPoint slide, only one, okay? And in that one, you can tell us anything you would like to share about yourself. We want to get to know not only who you are, but also we want to know a little bit about your culture, about, you know, what you think, what you're studying, what you're expecting. So right now, don't worry about the other assignment. I'm changing everything. This is going to make more sense. Okay. And the other assignment is going to be for Wednesday. Don't worry. So this is the only assignment I have for you today. Okay. You're going to prepare in one little slide of PowerPoint a little introduction. Now I'm saying one, can be 2. Now, let me tell you a little bit about your teacher before we go, because I want you to get an idea about maybe some of the things you can talk about. Believe it or not, that skinny girl, that was me a very long time ago. That was 1999. I know many of you were not even born. I know, I'm so old. That was 1999, and that was actually my first trip to Sao Paulo. I was coming back from Sao Paulo. I know, that was my first international trip. And that was my boss, Sally Osborne, my British, perfect, wonderful, amazing boss, in which I worked for Berlitz for 10 years. In this company, I had the chance to travel all around the world, as you can see there, not only Mexico, but New York, Latin America, and Europe. I used to train instructors. I used to train sales representatives and operational directors, and that was my job. I would stay in Colombia. Actually, I've been in Bogota for 2 or 3 weeks because I had to train a lot of people. You see, I've been to many of your many of your cities. I haven't been to Moscow though. I need still to go to Moscow. I know that's still in my bucket list. I still need to get there. But I've been all around. I used to be, I don't know, in Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, and Rome in Italy, and Frankfurt in Germany, and in Portugal, Lisbon, and many different, all around the world, okay? So as you can see, I hope you have seen that movie because I became as Miranda. I don't know if you have seen that movie, The Devil Wears Prada. I became Miranda, and I was such a horrible, horrible person that I actually learned, and this is something I always share with my students. I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything you ever dream of, so that you can see that that's not the answer. Because when I became Miranda, I realized I was the most miserable person in the world because I was very sad. I was alone. I was divorced. It was horrible. It was horrible. But then I was given a second chance. I had a car accident in which I almost died. And that was given, I was given a second chance. And that day when I was given a second chance, for 10 months, I was in a hospital. I had to learn again how to walk. I fractured my pelvis, my hip, all my ribs. I was in a coma for several days. So after the second chance that I was given, I understood, I'm glad I had the chance to have it all, but that's not the right answer. And then I went back to school. I did my master's in education, and I continued traveling. Training teachers is my favorite. As you can see, I have been a professor for almost over 10 years. I can almost say hundreds of students have been in my classrooms. Paulina, is your sister around there in one of your pictures? I don't know. I don't know if maybe your sister is there. I know. So many students around the world. And now this is my professional resume. As I already told you, I have a bachelor degree in public relations, my master's in education, my master's in business administration, in which I have specialized in learning and development, organizational behavior, and corporate training. I have tried to study a PhD twice. First, learning and cognition, I did a whole semester, and then philosophy of complex thinking, I also did a whole semester. But the reason why I quit is because I was not doing it for the right reasons. I was doing it to try to cover an empty space of my life, and that's not a reason to study any degree, any professional degree. You should do it when it's your passion. So now, oh, this is good news, Livia. You don't know this. Mr. Jenkins and I, we're going to do a doctorate in education in a few years. I know we're going to do it together. It's going to be fun. Anyway, so I have a strategic management certificate from the Copenhagen Business School. I have an honoris causa doctorate degree in literature, and I'm a World Peace Game independent training and facilitator for Ibero in Latin America. These are all my the jobs that I have held. And this is my LinkedIn profile. You can actually follow me. And this is in Spanish, and I apologize for my students who do not speak Spanish. It says, when you don't have anything else to do, what do? Go to work to Canada, because that's exactly what I did. And I moved 2 years ago here to Canada. I feel very blessed. Not only because I have my master's in education, I'm about to get my certificate as an associate in project management. And I give conferences all around the world. I'm usually invited to give a lot of conferences all around the world. I have been working at Vancouver Community College since January. This is going to be, I'm about to start my third academic semester, and this time I'm going to be teaching 4 groups. So it's going to be you guys, you and my 4 groups, a total of 5 groups. I'm still a senior peer leader at the University of Canada West. I'm a volunteer. Helping new students adapt to being a master student, international student in Canada. That's what I do. And because leaders never stop learning, as I already told you, Mr. Jenkins and I, we're going to do a doctorate in education in a few years. That's Mr. Jenkins, and he's my other half. I don't like that because I'm a complete person, but anyway, that's one way to say it. He's from England, and he's from Manchester, and we travel to England every summer. We just came back about 3 weeks ago. And we're going back this January because Mr. Jenkins' mom is sick. So we're going to try to visit his mom as often as we can. And I don't have children. He doesn't have children. So we travel around the world. That's what we do. That's why this Friday, I'm traveling to Phoenix. So next Monday, I'm going to be teaching you the class from Phoenix. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be connecting from Guadalajara. And then the following Monday, in Mexico, I'm going to be connecting from Puebla in Guadalajara. And on Wednesday, there's going to be a tricky one because I should be in Seattle but in about 2 weeks. Anyway, I might be back in Vancouver in about 3 weeks, but that's what I do. As you can see that, do you see that computer? And that is the view from my window. That's exactly, I'm very happy here. My roommate is an accountant from Philippines. She doesn't have a husband or children. I live on my own here. Mr. Jenkins, we have a house in Seattle. So I don't know. As you can see, I found my own way. I'm very happy now. I'm happier than when I was a rich Miranda woman traveling around the world. I still travel. And what is important for you to learn, guys, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you will do things differently. I believe that all of you are very young. I'm so proud of you and so proud of having you all in my class, because I am sure I'm going to be learning so much about you guys, because as much as I have traveled, everything changes. And I was in Bogota 18 years ago. I was in Sao Paulo 17 years ago. It's been a long time. So I'm really looking forward to learning from you. Now, as you will learn, I am a Star Wars fan, and the power of the dark side is the comfort zone, but nothing grows in the comfort zone. The comfort zone, it's easy. The comfort zone is, you know, and the good sign is that because you're all here, that already tells me that you understand that nothing grows in the comfort zone. You know why? Because there are people connecting at 4 o'clock in the morning. There are people for who right now it's 10 o'clock at night and you're still connected. I know, taking this class, and I appreciate that, 11 o'clock at night. And just because of that, I know, guys, I can guarantee you success. Now, this assignment, don't forget about it. I'll explain in next class because this is going to be assignment. I'm going to assign then on Wednesday. Just prepare your slide, and I'm going to finish today's class with this. The reason why it is such an honor for me to be your professor after so many years, and I've told this to all my students every time, is just because I have failed so much more than you have. So much more. And a lot of people believe or think that the Jedi Masters are these perfect, you know, special beings that have powers and they're perfect and everything works out perfect. No, actually, I have learned that what makes a Jedi Master is this. And I'm going to read what Yoda said. Yoda said, pass on what you have learned, strength, mastery. And then I'm going to cry because I was always get emotional here. But weakness, folly, and failure too. Failure most of all, because the greatest teacher of failure is. And trust me, I have failed so much for so long that it makes me so happy to be able to talk to new students every semester, because everything I'm always going to tell you is because I care about you. Is because I wish you the best, because I wish you success, I wish you happiness. And I really do believe that through this semester, guys, you're not only going to learn academic facts, you're going to learn more about who you are. And I promise by the end of this semester, but by that week in December, when we get to say goodbye, you're going to be different human beings than the ones you are today. I promise. It is my honor to be your teacher today. Thank you very much. And if you don't have any other question, that'll be it for today. I know, I get very emotional. I know. So anyway, comments, questions, suggestions. Yana and Juan, can you get your camera on? I need to get a screenshot, okay, of our first class so we can send it to our director, Diego. And I'm going to go to your question while Juan and Yana turn on their cameras. Yes, Alec, you have a question. Go ahead.
I have only one question about link for the sessions. That link that you gave us today, it is a link only for today, or it is a link for all our sessions?
It should work for all sessions, but still, I'm going to send again all the links again. I'm going to send you an email tomorrow so everybody has an updated link, but don't worry, I'll send it. Okay, Juan, just be on camera so I can get a screenshot. Everybody, 1, 2, give me a minute, 3, say hello. Yes. Okay, now wait, I need to take it again because it was blurry. 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on. 1, 2. And now I promise I'm going to send everyone this pic also. Very good. Very good. Wonderful. Thank you very much, guys. Very proud of you. Prepare your slide for next class. Remember, you're going to be introducing yourself next class, okay? Very good. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day. See you.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.